Good evening, Robin. Finally, I can't even do it. Took us 30 minutes to get on to where we could actually hear each other. Welcome to Personal Rips and Hobby Chat, episode 47. I am 3B Collection, Herman, and this is Ken joining me, Beans B Card Blog. And the ordeal that we've been through the last 30 minutes, you would not believe. Bo, appreciate your help.
Yes, appreciate your help, Bo. At least it wasn't me for once, because, I mean, it seems like it's usually on my end. So I feel a little better.
Yeah, Dan wanted the later start, so he wanted 9, we wanted 8, so we kind of split the difference with 8:30.
That's how we roll, at least tonight.
Right. And as it turned out, it wasn't you, it wasn't me, it was StreamYard. Thanks, StreamYard.
And on top of that, we have no show notes. We have no plans.
I kind of did that intentional.
I'm not complaining. It's all good. Because I'm like, everybody will be in the chat.
I kind of had some stuff I want to talk about, which I do have a story for you. And I told you prior to I had a story for you. I told you to bring your hanky. I mean, I know you're a dog lover.
Oh boy.
Yes, sir.
Don't make me cry.
Hold on, let me get her. Easy. Come here.
Okay.
Come here. Look here. This is Izzy.
So is she new to the family?
No, she's been with us for 4 years.
I thought I'd seen her before, but you were holding her earlier.
She's been with us for 4 years, minus the last week. And there's a story. There is a story behind that.
She get lost.
Okay.
She get lost.
Go ahead. No, she got stolen.
What the hell?
We let her out last Saturday morning to go to the potty. Never had a problem. In 4 years, we've never had a problem. She goes out in the yard. She does her thing. She comes back in. No problem. Let her out last Saturday. She disappears. Doesn't come back. Don't know where she's at. We're up and down the road, asking all the neighbors. Nobody's seen her. Nobody knows anything. 3 or 4 days, just all over social media. The Humane Society, local Humane Society, local Animal Rescue, they all share it on Facebook. All right, well, roll around to this Saturday. We pretty much give up. Like, we've done everything we know to do. She's gone. Yesterday, we left yesterday morning going to Athens to see my oldest son and one of our newest granddaughters. And my wife gets a text from a friend of hers, which her mother was the breeder that we got Izzy from. It's like somebody found Izzy. Sends pictures, the guy's number, everything. Like, what? He lives in Blackbird, South Carolina. 2 hours away from here.
What the hell?
Yeah. She's microchipped, by the way. So apparently this guy had saw her in Clinton, South Carolina, roaming around town, just from car to car, looking for somewhere to go. And he's got 3 dogs himself. He's a dog lover. He's not going to just leave a dog roaming around. And you could tell by looking at her. I mean, she's fat. She's fat as a pig. She's not a stray. She's not living from scraps to scraps. She's fat. So he's like, this is somebody's dog. This ain't like a stray dog. So he coerces her to come to him, picks her up, puts her in the car, and heads home. Well, he's watching the dog riding down the road, and he's like, this is somebody's dog because she rides better than our dogs. She loves to ride. She'll jump in any open car door that's open, but she wants to ride. So he called a 24-hour vet in Malden, South Carolina, that said, yeah, bring her in. We'll check her out, So when he got there with her, they took the little wand they have and they scanned her, and it beat. And it's like, well, she does have a chip. So they check the chip out, and it hits the breeder, the lady we got the dog from. So he messaged her on text and says, I found this miniature Yorkie, sends a picture. It says you're the breeder, which now in the meantime, we've already contacted the lady because we knew she was microchipped. So if anybody called her, and she's like, yeah, I know exactly whose dog this is. Her name's Izzy. So the guy turns and looks, and he told us this when we picked her up yesterday. He turns, looks at her, says, Izzy. Ears perk up, and she just starts wagging her tail. And just, she, here's her name. So, like I said, she sends us his number. We called him. The guy is plenty friendly. He just wants to get her back to her home. Like I said, the dog was about 2 hours away from us, from where we live. He just out of the blue offers to drive an hour out of his way to meet us halfway. So, we've kind of got our hopes up a little bit. We try not to get too overzealous or whatever. So we tell him where we'll meet him in Anderson. We meet him there. Well, we get there. For starters, we get there about 30 minutes early because, my wife can't wait. This is like her baby. We pull up. We're sitting there, and we're like, well, what if it's sitting her? Whatever. Dude pulls up in his truck, pulls up right beside the passenger side of our car where my wife's sitting. Rolls the window down, and Izzy pops her head up. And as soon as she does, her and let me just go ahead and take this. Let me say this first. This dog is vocal to the point where she almost sounds like she's talking when she gets excited. But she pops her head up in the window, sees my wife. My wife sees her. Of course, my wife's all just blubber and baby tears when she realizes her. This dog is going crazy. You can hear her just like she's talking. Wife gets out of the car, goes over to the guy's truck. She jumps out the window in my wife's arms. And like I said, we know somebody picked her up because she's had a haircut. She is a miniature Yorkie. Not Yorkie, I'm sorry. Schnauzer. But she hadn't been groomed in a couple of months, so she done got kind of curly and long-haired. But somebody had tried to just butchered her beard, tried to cut the hair on her back, and it was all done with scissors. So it's obvious somebody picked her up. We don't know who. At this point, we've got her back. We don't care. She's home. She's kind of traumatized a little bit. You can tell.
I'm sure.
But she's coming around. I've got her in here in the room with me so that she's kind of by herself because we do have a boxer that she absolutely hates. But yeah, she's coming around. But I mean, just to have her back after a week, and we did pretty much give up hope.
Oh, I would have lost my mind if any of ours, if that happened. Oh, I'm just glad she's back. That's awesome. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah, I'm sure she's traumatized. It's going to take her a couple weeks, but I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, she's coming around. Like I said, we've kind of isolated her, and we've, I feel sorry for Athena, our boxer, because we kept her put up a little more than usual, just to kind of give Izzy a chance to adapt and get back home. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and I get it because we have 3 dogs, none of which can be together.
Right.
So I understand the struggle of, it always seems like my pit bull Beulah is getting the short end of the stick, but I make myself feel a little better knowing she was less than 24 hours from being put down. We rescued her. So
right. Right.
So at least that helps me out a little bit. But yeah, no, yeah, you just gotta give her more love. She ain't mad at you.
No, I mean, yeah, but now since she's gotten back though, she does not go out without a leash. She's been
Yeah,
walking.
either
She'll
that
be
or somebody just stand out there with her.
right. And she'll
We've
be
had to do that with our little one every once in a while. We'll have to go
yeah.
out with her just to get her to go out.
I mean,
glad she's back. That was a
yeah,
story.
yeah. That's it was. I mean, it's still like it's unreal. Like how she got from here to like Black or Clinton, South Carolina. Well, like I said, that's like about 2 hours away, just in a week, and was found roaming around town. You know, it's just crazy. I don't know.
No, I mean, I've been scared enough or just like lost my mind enough because our middle-sized and middle-aged dog, the three, she can get over the fence. She got into our side neighbor's yard a few years ago, and then twice she's gotten into the neighbor behind us. And obviously, when you go out and call her and she doesn't come, it just literally scares the I don't know, whatever into you or out of you or whatever. So I get it because I'm a definitely a dog lover. Yeah, I mean, Diego, I know what you mean about the pit because Beulah is a pit, and there are pit haters out there that do malicious things that will pick. And Beulah is the sweetest thing to people. She's maybe not so nice to other dogs. She'll bark at our neighbor dog, but yeah, she's so nice to people that she'll just let you come up and pet her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel the same way. I know what you mean.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Well, I don't want to say malice, but I don't particularly care for pits, and I don't particularly care for Rottweilers. But I have good reason. My oldest son was mauled by a Rottweiler when he was 7. And before that, prior to that, I loved Rottweilers. I wanted one, but when he was attacked by this Rottweiler, which was a family friend, he was raised around all our kids, and it just all of a sudden snapped and turned on him. It's like I was in the mindset of, it don't matter how they're raised, it's the way it's just in their blood, da da da. But I try not to judge, but when something like that happens, it's kind of hard.
No, it would be very difficult. There's a guy on Twitter that I think he lives in Indy, and that's kind of how we had connected at one point. We had traded cards back and forth, and unfortunately, it was actually the same situation. It was like a family's friend dog that they'd been around. It was a pit bull, and it attacked her and did a lot of damage. So I can understand why people can.
Yeah,
I can understand why people can be that way.
I mean, I'm not going out hunting them and saying you need to put this dog up, you need to do that. But at the same time,
and therein lies the difference.
I don't want to be around them. I don't want my family being around them. But if you have them and you're taking care of them and you handle them the way they should be handled, more power to you. Yeah. Enjoy your dog.
No, I agree, and it's hard for me because when I rescued her, and like I said, she was less than 24 hours from being put down. That was the third time she'd been in the shelter.
Really?
So I'm not foolish enough to just sit here and act like, oh no, she escaped once and then they just didn't come back and get her. That was one. That one they didn't realize what there was. So for a long time, I was definitely very cautious about her being in an enclosed area without me, with my wife or stepson. He wanted he wanted to have her sleep in his bedroom, at some point. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. We had already adopted a dog that was air quote his. So, I use that as a way to get out of it, but I just, no, you just don't know. You do all you can do all you can, but we don't know what she went through. And our middle one is much more dog aggressive. Of the 3 females, she's the only one that had puppies, and she's very aggressive. So I don't know if she had the puppies while she was a stray and had an issue, with her puppies or what. But yeah,
right. So Dan's here.
She's home, and Dan's home.
Right. So Dan's here, and just Dan, don't worry about what happened prior to this. Just know that we postponed 30 minutes just for you. Dan jinxed us, dude. That's what it is. He jinxed us. We got Peeps in here now, and we got Mickey. Welcome, guys. So basically nobody shows up until 15 minutes before we're done. Maybe we should push back to 8:30. But yeah, we've got the tearjerker stories out of the way. We've got the dog talk out of the way. That's our what is it? SPA. What is it?
SPCA?
SPCA. We got our SPCA announcement and advertisement out of the way. Now we can get into collecting and got ball cards and racing cards and whatever we want to talk about.
Hey, Izzy is home. Izzy is home, and we've, you had the grandbabies. Hey, man, life's more important than cards.
Yep. So, yeah, needless to say, the last 2 weekends have been fairly interesting for us.
Definitely eventful. And now that we're done talking about dogs, mine that's here with me decided to come over and join me.
Exactly. So Pete's want to know if anybody's seen Topps Chrome yet. I have not. And honestly, I've not tried to find it in retail just because I knew how it would be snatched up as soon as it comes out. I am looking at buying a couple of hobby boxes. I'm not buying it at Blowout's prices. I'm not buying it at Topps prices. It's actually cheaper on eBay than it is on Topps and Blowout. So I'm looking at buying a couple of boxes of Chrome on eBay, possibly one for myself and one to split with a few guys. So
yeah, and in fairness, I have not been to a Walmart, Target that sells cards in more than a year. So we do the Walmart delivery for our groceries. And then if I have to go to one, I've got like one of the neighborhood market ones that doesn't sell, it's not the big full size one. So, right. But that's good. But that's good for me because it means I'm not getting, it's not that those boxes over on the side aren't like the squirrel that distracts me.
Right.
Because I really, really am not really into the modern stuff. But hey, when you see it, sometimes impulses kick in when you've been doing this for 35 years.
Yep. So, I had planned on doing this when we started, but with the delays, I kind of forgot about it and put it on the back burner. But if you haven't already done it, I want to talk about this at the end of the show. I've got a poll out on Twitter. It's in my pinned tweets. If you hadn't already voted on it, please go cast your vote, share, retweet, and get as many votes as we can because it's kind of something we touched on Saturday on Hobby Roundtable. It does have to do with the Fanatics buyout or them getting the licensing and the possibility of Topps losing, the ability to produce baseball cards. And I'll read it off. It's let's see. If Topps is no longer able to make cards after 2025 and more people move towards vintage, what does that do to the vintage market? It's either one, it stays the same, which I highly doubt. Two, prices go up. Or three, and it's listed 2020 boom, which is basically saying are the prices going to jump up like we saw with everything in 2020, which was ridiculous.
So, of the people that had voted, I am the only one that voted the way I have voted. Because I voted, it stays the same.
And I'm not even seeing that.
I just did it a minute ago. So,
Okay. Yep.
here's
So
the
you
thing, I think I touched on this on Saturday, but the people that say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy anything if they're full of shit." They scratch their itch. They're addicts. They're going to keep buying this stuff. Did we see a spike in vintage basketball and vintage football when Topps was no longer making those? No. People just moved over to Panini and start buying that stuff. They may not enjoy it as much because I do hear a lot of, yearning for Topps Chrome, in both. I get that. I'm not acting like they don't care, but they're addicts. They're still going to collect. And I won't say everybody that says they won't pull a crap, but 95% of them are. It's not going to matter. It's all going to be about the players, the teams, the flippers. The collectors are going to collect.
Well, can I say this?
No.
And I'm not saying you're wrong, but
Well, that's good because I'm not.
I'm not saying you're right.
Because I am.
But personally, for myself, I would probably be done. And I don't say done. I don't mean done as in out of the hobby. I mean done as buying anything from 2026 up. Because, and this, hear me out. Even up until now, I only collect Topps Braves team sets. Well, let me rephrase it. I'm done building sets because I only build top sets. That's all I have here. I have nothing Panini. I have nothing Score from back in the day or anything. It's all Topps. My binder project is all Topps products. It's Topps Flagship, Allen and Ginter, Gypsy Queen, and Heritage. So if Topps is not making cards, I kind of wanted to save us to the end, but I guess we're going now. Nah, that's fine. But if they're not making cards anymore, then I can't move on. The only thing now that's on Braves team sets. Now, Freddie Freeman's my main PC player. Yes, I will probably keep moving forward with collecting his for as long as he plays or as long as they make them, because even with his, I collect everything. Panini, Topps, whatever's made with his, with Freddie Freeman on it. So, but as far as set building, I'm done, as of 2025, unless the deal goes through to where Fanatics allows Topps to produce baseball cards, which I'm kind of with Bo, and I think John Newman said the same thing. They feel the same way, where they feel like that's what's going to happen. Topps they will acquire it, rent it, or whatever, and still be able to make them. Because, Fanatics would be stupid not to. Look how many people collect Topps Flagship and only Topps Flagship.
No, I agree. I think that's ultimately what's going to. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. Either they're going to acquire them, or they're going to farm it. Whichever way you want to do that. They're either going to acquire it, they're going to sell the rights to Topps, or they're going to farm it. Whatever way you want to look at it, I still believe the Topps name will be there. But for me to play devil's advocate then with you, Herman, what are you going to tell your grandkids that are born after 2026 when you don't make sets for them, but you've made them for the other grandkids?
Oh my God. I knew this was coming up.
You knew I wasn't going to let you get off that easily. You knew it was coming. What are you going to tell those grandkids?
I'm not going to.
Granddaddy doesn't love them?
No. You got me there. I'm going to have to do something. I don't know what, but I'm going to have to do something because I've done it from from 93 till now. So that's starting. And that's starting with my oldest son. I started with him 93, 96, 99, and then up until, let's see, 2019 or, oh God, hold on. 2000, oh my Lord, 2009, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I'll have to figure something out. I'm just hoping that Topps keeps making cards.
And I don't want to act like that Fanatics won't care that the guys like you and I that have been doing this for however long are gone. I don't want to act like they don't care, but at the end of the day, they're looking to the future and not the past. And I don't, and the flip vesters that are doing this, nothing's really going to change to them as long as they can get, whatever that they can sell, rip, flip, whatever. No matter what changes are made, you can't please everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Or in reality, you can't please everybody ever. You know what I mean? So, there's just some level of, because I said 95%, and if you're in that 5%, that's fine. I'm not passing any judgment on anyone that feels that way.
Right.
Because I do think that the names needs to stick around. But overall, I'm looking at a much more macro level, high level, and I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference in that. And honestly, I'm really looking at it, as I said the other night. So the people that are in the chat, I ask you this. You've watched a lot of me with Herman, me on the Hobby Roundtable. How many of you consider me an optimistic person when it comes to the hobby? Probably none of you, but I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to be for the better. Because we really don't know anything. We know less than 1% of what's going to ultimately happen by the year 2026.
Yeah, you're right, because like I said, we don't know that what Fanatics has in mind as far as, are they wanting to acquire Topps, or are they wanting to work with Topps, or are they just wanting to go on their own? But and Matt said in chat, which by the way, Matt's back. I started to message Matt the other day and just ask him how he was doing, because I knew I hadn't seen him in a while. But he's wanting to know, does Topps still be allowed to produce like minor league cards, or is that prohibited? And from my understanding and from what I've seen, minor league players aren't in the players union. So stuff like the Bowman minor league cards or Bowman first cards, those are still on the table for Topps.
Like the draft picks and stuff. Is that what the draft picks?
Right. Pro debut still on it. Pro debut, which made Bo go the complete opposite of what he said he was going to do, and bought some. But pro debut is still on the table because they're not in the Players Association or the union or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that stuff's still on the table for Topps, as well as Garbage Pail Kids and F1 and what is the other one they have? Star Wars.
They've got NHL stickers. They've got soccer stuff. And minor league heritage. So there's other things. Could they do something with that? Again, it's not going to replace the major league thing, but they still, may have a possibility. But they would take a huge hit if they're not purchased or used as a farm team.
Yeah. Pete, let's see, who was it? I just padded up. Pete said that the one thing is Michael Eisner is so pissed off that he doesn't sell the Topps brand to Fanatics. I don't think they sell Topps to Fanatics, period. It doesn't matter one way or another. I don't think they would sell to Fanatics. Yes, Fanatics has got all the money in the world, and Fanatics is a brand that everybody recognizes. But I've I venture to say that there's just as many people that recognize the Tops brand as they are Fanatics. I mean, would
The
you?
if the option is you sell or you're going to go bankrupt, you sell. And I know Eisner has some control, but I mean, he is not the end all be all. There are still other partners involved in
Well,
that.
true.
So, I mean, I think we all read or heard about the story, I guess, where he called and ripped Manfred a new one. But at the end of the day, business is business. I don't know how much Eisner has involved in that, but he is a businessman, and at the end of the day, part of being a businessman is going to lose. You lose as little as possible, But what percentage of that, correlates to what his net worth? I don't know. No, Rick, they need to stay away so our prices don't go up. You're wrong, Rick. I love you, Rick, but you're wrong.
All right, so all right, since he said that, the poll that I posted earlier about the vintage, I want to know if now obviously Rick, is that what you said?
Rick is vintage oddball cards.
Okay. Does it I don't want to say bother you, but are you not concerned with if everybody say 2025 says, all right, I'm done with collecting modern, I'm moving backwards, and I'm starting to go toward vintage. The demand goes up, supply's not going to go up, so therefore prices are going to, in my opinion, they're going to skyrocket. Does that not concern you? Or does that not concern anybody that's in vintage? Obviously, it concerns you, Kim, because you're like, no, stay away. So, I mean,
But at the end of the day, when you take YouTube or you take Twitter, or whatever other social media, unless you're taking like a Facebook, a room specific, part of collecting for a lot of us, especially those of us that have collected for 20, 30, 40 years, is we like to talk about our stuff. We like to share our stuff. And when you look at the available amount of YouTube channels that are specifically vintage, it's a lot less than the modern. So there's definitely something to be said for the come join us. And, now we have more people to talk about. I think I tweeted the other day that like my IndyCar stuff are my least viewed videos on my channel. Because nobody else really cares. I'm not upset about that because I understand it, because there's a lot of other stuff I don't watch that I'm not interested in. And while I want the prices to stay low because there's still so much I want to acquire, it does stink that I really only have a couple of guys that I can talk to about that stuff, is where, a modern Braves collector like yourself can talk to, how many hundreds or thousands of people and just share your collection, tell, whatever. You have that camaraderie. So there's definitely something to be said for more people getting into vintage, to where, again, tell stories, share, trade, whatever the case may be. And, it even kind of going off of that, that's been one of my biggest frustrations really about YouTube, is that, I share a lot of people's stuff. I support a lot of channels because I want like the camaraderie, and we have like a great group that watches our shows and that we talk with, but I'm not going to continue supporting people that don't, like I said, want to interact. That's what I want to do. I want to interact. That's why we do this show. If I wanted to just, sit in my spare bedroom and fondle my cards, I wouldn't be doing this show. I wouldn't be doing YouTube. So I kind of got off. I kind of got off on a tangent there, but there's definitely something to be said for that, and then if you've got more YouTube channels that are on vintage, you'll start seeing things that you never saw before because somebody found something at some random card show that they were excited to share that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. So,
Right.
steps off soapbox.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's that like for myself. Well, let me say this. For myself, I am not really that interested in vintage as far as pre-war, because what the allure for me for collecting is more of players that I know, players I've watched, players that I've seen, like Dale Murphy. I mean, take him back. Like, yes, I say my earliest recollection of watching Murphy was probably 80, 81, but his rookie year was 77.
77.
So, I mean, yeah, I have a Murphy rookie, and I have 78, 79, 80, but like Warren Spahn, I mean, and Hank Aaron, I don't remember watching them play. I have some Aaron cards because I know enough about him and I've seen enough about him to know who he is. And yes, I do want him, but to go back into you do the TT06s and the what's the other ones you do?
Oh, me. I mean, I like the T210s, the minor league cards.
Yeah. See, I don't know enough about them. I nothing that if I look at a modern, not say modern, and I really don't consider it vintage because it's like 79 or 80. I don't really consider that vintage, which I guess technically it is because it's over 30 years old. But that's about as far back as my interest goes. Outside of the 72s, and that's just because that's my birth year set, and I want to complete it. I mean, I'm not gonna stand here and say that. Yeah, I want to collect vintage because I don't have any interest in it. I wouldn't mind having a few of them, but it wouldn't do as much for me as a player that I saw play.
Well, and that kind of goes along with what I said, even though I didn't say it. Come 2027, if you don't care about the vintage, you want to collect cards. Your options are either you collect what's available or you don't collect.
Right.
You've got, Bo commented, he's a history nerd, loves reading stories on players he's never heard of. That's the attraction he has with pre-war. I grew up and I loved baseball from 1987 to roughly 97. I don't like the modern game. It bores the living hell out of me.
Right.
It's home run derby. That bores me. I miss stolen bases and bunts and things like that. So conversely to what you said, where you don't have as much of an interest in the older stuff, I do, because I am that shaking my fist at the cloud old man that says everything was better 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And I truly believe that. And, no offense to you, just because you're wearing a bracelet, I don't give a shit about Ronald Acuna Jr. I really don't. I don't care about Tatis and Guerrero and the boring ass baseball that's out there now. I don't care about the NFL because you have about 6 square inches on a ball carrier that you can hit them without having a personal foul. So, it goes both ways. And like I said, a lot of, and I kind of talked about it on the roundtable the other night. I don't collect the modern stuff, but I'm still keeping, because a lot of people do, we send each other care packages and stuff like that. And people will send me the Will Clark cards and the Dale Murphy cards and stuff like that. So I'm keeping those because I enjoy those. But, as far as collecting anybody modern outside of some of the guys that played at WVU, I have no team. I have no interest. A lot of guys have sent me John Means cards because, he's in he's well established enough that he's in everything. So I love having them. I'm not going to go out and buy a blaster to try and get the one John means, because I know somebody's going to probably send me one in time. But, just like I said, just kind of playing the other side of what you said, where, some people are going like the old stuff. And so that's where I said, in a lot of ways, this doesn't really affect my collecting, but I understand that I'm in the minority as well.
Right.
And, I right, wrong, or indifferent, like I said, come 2027, if you want to collect, Ronald Acuna Jr., Fernando Tatis, or whoever the newest flavor of the month is, maybe Jason Dominguez will be in the majors by then. You're either going to collect what Fanatics puts out, whether it's under the Topps label or it's the Fanatics label, or you're not. I mean, those are your options.
Right. And I don't know how we kind of made this whole hour about Topps, and I was going to give it like 10 minutes at the end, but that's where it went. But
we took different angles. But we took different angles on it. I don't think we were, and it's not like it's all crickets in the chat. I mean, people.
No, chat has been awesome. I just posted, and everybody's like keeping chat hopping, and I'm loving it. It's awesome.
And Dan, I have not added the Barclays yet. I'm just slowly working on getting stuff in there. Hopefully here in the next couple months, I'll get to the Barclays. I've got about 400 of them probably. And then I have in my Sport Lots box, I got another lot of like 300 of them. So, it'll be a little bit, but I do appreciate the thought.
And I will say this, we got about 15 or 16 minutes. If anybody in chat wants to hop on and share their opinion of how they think, or as far as how they think collecting will go after 2025, let me know in chat. I'll send you the link. It's always open.
So I want to go off something George said. The smell of vintage is superior to the smell of modern. So I don't know I know you were probably collecting at this time. Were you collecting in 87, 88?
Oh, 87 is when I started.
Okay.
80, matter of fact, 87 was the first wax pack that I bought, and trust me, I bought a bunch of them. That's
okay. So you started at an older age than I did, because I started there too, and you're a couple years older than I am. So, did you ever open the mini league leaders cards, the Topps, the little mini, like in 87? I can still remember the smell of those things when you opened them, and it was just such a different smell, because all I was opening then was Topps and Donruss. But they had that glossy, just that glossy front and all that. Oh, they smell different, and I still recognize. I can still smell that smell in my head. Completely random, and everybody thinks I'm weird, or more weird than they did before. But
yeah. So Mickey thinks the same way I do. If Topps stops printing cards, vintage is gone. It's like out of sight.
But again, is that with the over 30 crowd? And then what percentage of collectors are, and when I say collectors, I mean loosely, people in the hobby at this point are over 30 years old. And I is it 50-50? I don't know what it is, but definitely have heard a lot about, not only the youth movement at like the Dallas Card Show and, some of these bigger shows, but just at the National itself. And, a lot of these teenagers and, up to like mid-20s. And, those are a lot of the guys buying a lot of the cards. Again, there's no right answer, because we just don't know there's no way to know those actual numbers.
Right. That's, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that. All right, we all know that like last year there was a bunch of new. I don't even want to call them hobbyists, because the ones that jumped in were jumping in for the quick buck, for the buy it, flip it, be out of it. They probably don't even have a PC outside of Acuna, Tatis, Trout, and anybody else that's hot.
Just the
But
goats, man. Just the goats.
right, just the goats. Goat PC. But I feel like any of those that just came in like last year or year before, maybe never even collected before in their life. They don't have the lineage with a brand like Topps. They just want the next best thing that's selling. Those will be the ones that carry that on past 2025. People like me, possibly Bo. I don't want to speak for nobody, but ones that's been in for a while that knows the lineage of Topps and all that. They may cut it off. They may start working backwards.
But what I'm saying is, what is that? Is that 20% of the total card hobby? Again, I'm not saying collectors. Is that 15 or is that 50? So there's the new money is what they're chasing. Ideally, they don't care. They don't care about the old stuff because they're not making money off of it. And by they, I mean Fanatics, Topps. Once it's released, their concern in general is gone. I mean, obviously you want to retain secondary value, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just my take. It's just, I definitely try to think about is I've watched a lot of YouTube videos over the last weeks from people who definitely understand the business of the hobby more. I'm trying to kind of take on their macro thoughts, their high level thoughts is just opposed to what I think. Because like I said, I have not what current boxes, I bought, I think, a blaster and a pack a year and a half ago. And, other than buying stuff from Montgomery Club, I have, that's just because I have it. And a lot of it, I know that I can flip to, put into the cards I want. I don't buy that stuff anyway. So I am trying to, look at a different level of it. But I also realize that, I'm 42. I am in the second half of my life, most likely. So I don't think that it's always the guys like me that are, putting the most money into what's the latest and greatest.
So Ed says outside of Red Sox, he's pretty much moved on from modern. And I can agree with that.
And he said earlier, his post before that I had read, I think while I was talking, he said, I don't see the newer collectors who chase the shiny, quick flip cards moving to vintage. And that's where a lot of money is in the hobby. But, for purchasing and opening the retail, grading, and all that. And those are the people, and that, in general, may be the future of the sports card hobby. And let's just be honest. I think that a lot of the guys that are, in their 60s and 70s are dinosaurs. Well, those kids that are in their 20s, teens and early 20s, think I'm a dinosaur. And, at a certain point, I guess I am. It's an evolution, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
It is what it is.
Let's see.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. Like, he said he'll still collect his Royals. And, Ed talked about collecting his Red Sox. Maybe you don't go out and buy the stuff, to open. Maybe you're not building the sets, but maybe Herman, instead of putting them together, for his grandchild born in 2020, maybe he just buys the set. It's not quite the same, but maybe that's what he does. Maybe that's just what you do. You may not think so now, but maybe you will then. We all change. We all change how we think all the time.
Yeah, that's something that I wouldn't buy the set. The whole point of me starting that was that I personally hand collected it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you're that disillusioned at that point with Fanatics, I'm just saying, we don't know. It could change.
All right. So I
Never
put
say
the
never.
invite out, and Dan is joining us. It looks like from his classroom, chalkboard and all. What's up, Dan?
Does that
I have
say
a problem
Juicy
here.
Hunt?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. I'm not getting sound out of my computer. So if I turn on the TV, which has the sound, I'm going to be hearing the echo in the background. So I'm not sure if this is going to work.
We hear you fine.
Yeah, we'll try it. Does that say Juicy Honey on the chalkboard behind him?
I'm not sure if this is going to work.
We hear you fine.
I can hear the delay.
We'll try it. Does that say Juicy Honey on the chalkboard behind him?
No.
We hear you fine.
I can hear the delay.
Here we go.
No.
So Dan, I mean, this is like perfect for the issues that we were having before we started. So it's perfectly fine.
So are you on lunch, or are you done with the day, or what are you doing right now? We'll just have to deal with the delay a little bit.
Yeah.
All good. All good.
This will throw him off when he hears it, when he starts talking. Hey, Dan. Maybe not.
Okay. No, it's okay. I got it.
Hey, Dan.
I got it.
Maybe not.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Hey, Dan.
I got it.
This is scintillating for everyone.
He's like,
All
no,
right.
I'm done.
Sorry, Dan. Yeah, I am interested though. Like, is he on? Like, is he? Because I know when we first started, I feel like he was saying he was on lunch at this time. That's what he was doing. But we appreciate you coming in, Dan, when you can, even if we can't make this work.
Yeah, man, if you make it work out, jump on in here. That's like I said, I opened it up because, like I said,
Oh, it's
Me-
early
me and-
morning. Okay.
oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we've kind of rambled on for a while now, but I'd kind of be interested and want to open it up for anybody else that wanted to share their opinion or their views or whatever. I know everybody's in chat, but
10 a.m. some days can be lunch for me.
yeah.
But
real quick, and I know we were on the Tops project, the Tops Fanatics deal, but one thing I want to talk about was I've mentioned it before about me working with the guy that opened the car shop here in town about doing a trades night. We've kind of not postponed it, but we've kind of drug it out and tried to add different aspects of it to make it more interesting, more inviting. One of the things that we've come up with, or I've come up with in the last couple of days, I need to run it by him to do, was we're going to do like a pack war. Or I want to do a pack war where, and I've got to run this by him first, to give away a box of something like modern, something new, the hot new, whatever, Tops Chrome, Immaculate, whatever we come up with. But the pack war we're going to do is not like pack versus pack, highest price card. We're going to set a list of different stuff that you can find on a card, like a player with a mustache, player with glasses, player with sunglasses, and I want to do like a older, maybe like a junk wax error box, and add in, Hall of Famers, and pick a certain team, which in our area it'll probably Braves, but each one of these aspects of the card that they pull will have a point value. Where you open a pack of cards and say, if you get a Hall of Famer, you get 3 points. If you get a Braves player, you get 5 points. You
lose 10 points. Braves card, you lose 10 points.
Or whatever, maybe if you get a player from West Virginia, you lose 20, whatever, But, it just have a point value to it and just offer it to where, they buy the pack, they open it, accumulate their points. We record it at the end of the night. Whoever has the most points wins the box card. But we're trying to come up with stuff like that to kind of not only have the trade nights, but kind of help his business too. So.
Yeah, I mean, like always worth trying new stuff. You just don't know. Obviously, you just need to, he needs to just try to scale slowly. Hopefully, he won't get too far in over his head. Yeah, I mean, that Pack War was what we used to do. Like when I'd be in the Birmingham for the summer as a kid, my uncle, he'd have a box of cards, and some evenings that's what me, my cousins, and him do. There were 4 of us. So if it was a 36 pack box, it was easily divisible by 4. And it was just a fun way to look at the back of the cards, most career home run, stuff like that. And, at that point, that's how we were learning, things like that. Just learn who's good, who wasn't, because we didn't have Baseball Reference and all the things online that we have now. Right. So,
and the thing is,
what's old is new again.
Right. And the thing is, I want to, I'm not going to ask him to come up with a $250 box to give away as a prize. I'm going to offer to split it with him because, and I'm going to use it too. I want to do it live to where not only customers that come into his store have the chance to do it, but people online have the chance to do it as well. So it's kind of going to be promoting his store as well as our channel, and I just got to figure out a way to make that work. And when I say buy a pack of cards, I mean, I'm talking about, like $1 pack. So basically you're buying a raffle ticket for $1 to try to win a $250 box. We're not going to make money off of it. I know that. I don't want to make money off of it. I want it to use it as a way of promoting his store and his website and, our channel. So.
Yeah, throwing the online thing definitely throws a whole monkey wrench into it. Definitely makes it a little more challenging, but interested to see how it all plays out.
Well, another thing I'm doing that too is it'll be a way to possibly record every pack opened, so that it's all out in the open. Everybody knows. Like, look, if you think we did this, go back and watch this. This is every pack. This is the guy that did this, whatever. So, and the thing about that is he has a part of his card store is it's kind of a half and half split deal, where it's a hobby and collectible store, but it's also a media center. He's real big on videographing and video and production and stuff like that. He teaches a technology class in high school, so I mean he knows his way around a computer and YouTube and videos and stuff like that. So, I mean, we could record all that there in his studio. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe he needs to, I don't know, maybe he needs to do a channel for his store or something.
Yeah. He does.
Just something as a way to promote, just as a way to promote things. I mean, I know I'm wearing my IndyCar Exchange shirt, and I know, you know, they do stuff online. They do mostly breaks on their YouTube channel, but you know, Andy, the owner, is on a lot of the other, you know, sports hobby talk shows and stuff like that. So, you know, they do things from time to time, and he'll, you know, I think he showed off some cards he picked up at the National, things like that.
Right.
You know, it helps promote the shop.
All right. Well, for somebody that had no plan when we first started and got 30 minutes, got started 30 minutes late, we made an hour pretty easy.
Yeah, well, you chose a co-host that talks a lot, so
Yeah.
whether that's good or bad, I don't know.
Well, and we also had a topic that kind of carried on too. I mean, I gave it 10 minutes at the end of the show, and it ended up having the whole show. It is what it is.
But you know what I noticed? I just thought about this was just like Roundtable the other night, in that we talked all about top and we just totally skipped all over PWCC.
Look, I could care less about PWCC.
And it's one of those things too, for where not anything, it doesn't really affect how I collect. So
You know,
it just wasn't. It just wasn't. And some people say everything affects everything, but you know, it isn't. I don't believe, if I ever bid on something from Probstein or PWCC, it would have been very early in either there or my eBay times. I mean, as soon as I knew what they were, I just skip over them. So
yeah. So, I went from 6 votes on my poll before we started to 26, and right now we're sitting at 15% says stay the same, 73 says price goes up, and 12% thinks that it'll just skyrocket like 2020 prices of everything. So we'll see. Everybody that participated, I appreciate it. And I think next week I'm going to look at possibly doing another collector's corner. So if anybody's interested, reach out to me. If not, I do have somebody in mind that I'm going to reach out to. But again, thanks guys and gals for jumping in the chat. I mean, the chat was wide open tonight. It was non-stop, and I appreciate it. And I know Ken does too.
Yes, thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will be back next week, barring any other grandkids being born or dogs being lost.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I don't usually do this, but I just wanted to plug the video that I post that
no, go ahead.
On my channel. I showed some things. It was kind of a comparison. I would love to hear people's thoughts. So if you'll go, you'll always get my attention with puppies in the picture. But anyway, yeah, I would love it if you would watch the video and just kind of give me your thoughts and comments on what I talk about. It's some different ways of protecting graded cards from the visual appeal aspect, even if you're not that into grading. Because I mean, I'm not, you know, a huge proponent of it, but it's just from the visual aspect. I'd love to know what others think. So hopefully in my channel, which is Beans Ball Card Blog, and just check out that video that I posted this morning if you haven't already, because I know a lot of you have.
Right. Yeah, always. I mean, anytime you want to, mention a video or anything like that, go ahead. I mean, that's perfectly fine.
Bye, Izzy. Bye.
I posted one yesterday of a rack that I got from Andrew from Bayside Breaks, and which was totally unexpected. But yeah, I mean that's fine. I love it. And yeah, Izzy says bye. All right, everybody, take care. See you next week.
See you later.